Hello, my name is Kyra Watson. I'm a wife and mother of 3 beautiful children who I breastfed exclusively. I'm a current Soul Food for Your Baby board member, and I'm a public health professional. I was inspired to participate in this project because as a mom who breastfed exclusively for all 3 children, I know the importance of encouraging breastfeeding amongst African American mothers because we face a disproportionately high prevalence of maternal and child adolescent health disparities. So if I can be involved in any way in encouraging another African American mother to breastfeed, I'm all for it. So a positive experience that I had being pregnant, I would recount my first pregnancy when I was 26 years old, and I was the only one of my peers who was expecting or thinking about having a baby or planning to have a baby. I was on the island by myself in that experience, and so that left me feeling a little anxious and overwhelmed and uncertain of what to expect. It wasn't planned, so it was very scary to say the least. But in terms of a positive experience, I think having a mom as amazing as mine, I definitely felt that African proverb, if it takes a village to raise a child, because as soon as my mom found out I was pregnant and that my now husband and I were expecting a baby, she called in all the troops. She told everyone and anyone that she knew, my daughter's expecting a baby, and she created this really positive and supportive environment. So I felt I had a community of support from family and friends, and that made for a very, very comforting and amazing pregnancy. I had mentors from all walks of life. I had mothers who had children who'd grown up and had their own children giving me advice, and anything you name it, from dealing with nausea, advice for dealing with prenatal symptoms, postnatal symptoms, being a new mom, what to expect. Them sharing their experiences, I think, was the most rewarding and positive part of the pregnancy, because that collage of shared experience helped me brace for the experience I was yet to encounter. And I just had an incredible outpouring of support in terms of resources, so that took the financial burden away. I had individuals who wanted to just, whatever they could give, they would give because they loved my mom or because they were so excited that I was going to be a mom. And again, that made for a very comforting and very uniquely supportive experience, I think, unfortunately for women of color. Sometimes that's not the case, but I was very blessed, my husband and I, to have an outpour of support, mentorship, and guidance throughout the entire process and beyond. My pregnancy, first go round, taught me, it was empowerment. It taught me that I could take on any challenge, that I could come out on the other end okay. For whatever odd reason, I was compelled to do it all natural the first go round. I didn't want to use any artificial assistance during labor and delivery, so I told my doctor that my birth plan did not involve an epidural, did not involve a cesarean, didn't involve any extra non-topical drugs. And my doctor thought I was the most difficult and bizarre patient he'd ever encountered, but I'm very glad to say that I came out as a champion on the other end. And I think I just created this challenge for myself just because I wanted to see if I could do it, and do it all the natural way, like women all around the world. And I did, and I just, retrospectively, I wouldn't do it again. But it was definitely an empowering experience, and having a child is a very beautiful process. And I found that being a mother, I found a new source of motivation. My daughter, Courtney, was a new source of motivation, and she taught me that I could do anything I set my mind to. some upliftment I would give other moms or future moms is, you got this. I think in terms of being a woman and being a mother, we're especially designed or engineered for the job. And although it can seem scary and overwhelming and be challenging at times, as mothers, we're more resilient and we're stronger than we know. And sometimes you don't know until you're in there and you're dealing with things. But if you utilize your resources and remain optimistic and give yourself a break and understand it, it's a day-by-day process, you realize that you got this, you can do this, you're amazing. I learned during the first pregnancy the importance of taking help, accepting help, saying no, reserving time for myself to get some rest and rejuvenation and relaxation, and how that can make me perform better as a mom. When I'm emotionally rested and physically rested, I can be a lot better and be more present as a mom. So I've learned to practice some stress reduction techniques. So I practice aromatherapy. I definitely carve out a significant patch for me time, even if it means getting up a little bit earlier than everyone else to have that quiet time just to be alone with my thoughts. And aromatherapy has worked wonders for me, so I'm always a strong advocate for aromatherapy, but those are just some things that work for me and that I recommend for others. I absolutely feel and know that the expectations of being a mother are set significantly higher for mothers of color, specifically African American women. Unfortunately, we live in a double state, or a state of double consciousness, due to historical experiences, just racism, feeling that we're constantly forced to demystify or live down racial stereotypes that are often placed on African American women. I feel in that regard the expectations are placed higher on us, but I think we need to be conscious of that and be aware that it's up to us to give ourselves a break and say, you know what, even though these are some things I'm up against, this is what I'm going to set. These are the goals and the expectations I'm going to set for myself. As a woman of color, also we deal with racism, so I think that puts a lot more stress on us. And raising a child of color, you feel that you have to prepare them for things in a world that's not always fair, a world that discriminates against them. So we have to nurture in a different way. Oftentimes we have to prepare our children for those harsh realities that come with life in a non-perfect world. So the bar is definitely set higher for us. I think there's also that strong Black woman theory that we're often either not giving ourselves a break with by trying to live up to, or not making it clear to others that that's an unfair playing field to set for a Black woman. We're, at the end of the day, human. We're Black. Just because I'm a Black woman doesn't mean I'm not a woman. I deserve support. I deserve assistance. I don't have to do everything on my own. So saying yes to help, not feeling like you have to take on the world by yourself. I know historically there were things that as African American women we had to do on our own, but I believe that it's time for us to embrace a community of support and take help, say no when you feel like you're overwhelmed, and do your very best. You got this. I had overall a very positive prenatal and postnatal doctor's visit or doctor's experience. I started out when I had my first child at a women's health clinic, And as a public health professional and someone who has a background in pre-health sciences, I realized that I needed to do a little bit more resource banking to find out where I could get healthcare services and prenatal services that I felt I was worthy of. So although the clinic I initially started out at did a phenomenal job in terms of providing prenatal services, I felt like I was just one of many. I didn't feel like there was a name that went along with my patient file. So I sought out another physician who accepted Medicare, which is what I had for healthcare coverage at the time, and finding out that a private doctor or a private doctor's office who could give me more one-on-one attention and longer patient and doctor time, finding out that he was willing to take my healthcare coverage at the time was a huge relief. And from that point on, I was on a trajectory to having a stress-less, I guess, if you will, experience with my prenatal visits and my labor and delivery and my postnatal experience. I had a phenomenal doctor that worked with me. I'm not always the easiest patient to deal with because I often self-diagnose. And I think being able to realize there were resources that I wanted, and I was able to secure them by learning how to navigate the healthcare system with my knowledge. That made for a very, very positive and wonderful prenatal and postnatal experience. I'm Kyra Watson with Soul Food for Your Baby, and this has been an amazing experience. I am honored to participate in a project aimed at encouraging more African American mothers to breastfeed. I encourage mothers to breastfeed. It's one of the most rewarding experiences. It's one of the most beneficial things we can do as mothers in terms of enhancing our bonding experiences with our child, promoting a better sense of immunity, in terms of promoting better outcomes with infant and childhood development. Please help sharing my experience as a mother of 3 who breastfed with all 3 children, encourages other mothers to breastfeed. Thank you.